You ever like watch a horror movie and a single sound just like totally freaks you out?
Oh, yeah.
And it's not even like the jump scare itself. It's like
Right.
the creepy music or like a door creaking. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is a sound editor, my friends.
It is.
That is the work of a skilled sound editor, and that's actually what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking at sound editors in film, TV, and even video games.
Right?
And we've got some really cool excerpts from RoleCatcher's career guide for sound editors. Have you had a chance to look at that at all?
Yeah, I have. It's really fascinating. It's such a cool field, and it's so technical and, problem solving, but also creative.
Totally.
And impactful, like
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah, so impactful. Like, it really shapes how we experience movies and TV shows and video games.
Totally.
So I kind of want to jump right in.
Yeah.
So we all know that sound editors, like, work with sound, but what do they actually do?
Right. Yeah.
RoleCatcher describes it as, like, they're the sonic architects. Which, I don't know, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it's true. Think about it. They do everything. Like every little beep and roar and whisper, like explosions, gunshots, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are making that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it like more than just knowing how to like work all the buttons and knobs?
That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, the technical skills are super important.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely get into those. But honestly, like a huge part of it is understanding how different sounds make you feel.
Right.
And then using that to kind of like enhance the story that's being told on screen. So
It's true.
yeah, they're like sonic storytellers.
Because it's like, if you watch something with the sound off,
Right.
it's just so different.
A totally different experience.
And it's interesting because I was reading in RoleCatcher about like active listening
Right.
being a skill.
Yes.
And it's not just like passively hearing.
Right.
It's really understanding,
It's intentional.
yes,
Yeah.
understanding like what the director wants
Totally.
and like what will evoke that emotion.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine like a director's like, oh, okay, I need this explosion, but I don't want it to sound like, Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Yeah. I want it to be like apocalyptic dread.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
And so it's not just like turning up the bass,
Yeah.
They have to think about what sounds would actually convey that feeling.
Yeah.
The rumble, the debris falling.
It's the layers.
Yeah, the echoes through the city, maybe even like a high-pitched ringing.
Which is so interesting because that's not something you necessarily think about while you're watching, but it totally...
Yeah, it's subliminal.
Yes.
It makes you feel a certain way.
So it's creating an experience. It's not just like
Totally.
adding sound.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting what RoleCatcher was saying about how like these sounds sometimes don't even exist
Right.
in nature.
Yeah, they have to just make it up.
Like the lightsaber.
The lightsaber.
Or dragon.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've said that this is like a very creative job.
Yeah.
But what about the industry itself?
Yeah.
Like, where do these sound editors work?
Well, I mean, obviously film and television, right? But RoleCatcher was saying that, like, video games are huge now.
Huge.
Budding sound editors.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's all about, like, making it immersive, right?
Yeah. And they're so interactive.
Yeah.
So you have to think, as a sound editor, like, how does that sound change based on what the player does?
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. So they could have, like, a footstep. But there might be 12 versions of that footstep depending on if it's raining, what surface they're walking on, how fast they're going.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The detail.
Yeah.
And it's cool because RoleCatcher mentioned that, like, the job outlook is really good.
Yes. Very good.
It was like a 7% growth rate, which is like way higher than average.
Yeah, it is.
From 2020 to 2030.
Wow.
So it's a good time
It is.
if you're interested in sound editing.
It really shows that they're needed. Like, people who can create these amazing experiences.
Yep.
It's in demand.
So, okay, we've talked about the creative side. We've talked about that it's technical.
Right.
But before we get into, like, actually how to become a sound editor,
Yeah.
let's go back to those technical skills for a second.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I know RoleCatcher talks about, like, Pro Tools specifically,
Right.
but, like, what are they actually doing?
Yeah.
What is that?
So Pro Tools is like what they call a DW, which is a digital audio workstation. And it's kind of like the industry standard.
Okay.
It's where they live. Sound editors, they spend a lot of time in Pro Tools. And it can do so much. Imagine like hundreds of tracks of audio
Oh my gosh.
from different takes and microphones and then all the sound libraries.
Yeah.
And they're in there and they're organizing it all and they're cleaning it up, like getting rid of noises and stuff.
It's like I'm picturing like a very full screen.
Yes. A lot going on. Yeah. And then like meticulously adjusting each sound, the timing, the volume to make this like cohesive, impactful soundscape. And for instance, there's a tool in Pro Tools called an EQ,
Okay.
and it's called the EQ8. And they can use that to like change the frequency balance of a sound to make it sound closer or further away.
So they really are like conducting an orchestra. It's
Yeah.
like all these different sounds and they all have to like work together.
Yes, exactly.
It's a good way to put it.
And they need to know how it's all going to work together, you know, like how each instrument affects the whole piece, like a conductor, you know. They need to understand those techniques of audio manipulation and how to bring their vision to life.
So it really is like this perfect blend of
Yeah.
creativity and technology, which is really cool. But I imagine for someone who's like never done this before,
Intimidate
to be
them.
like, all right, I'm going to open up Pro Tools.
Right. Let's do
He's like, where do I even begin?
What advice would you even give?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, like, don't worry about the Pro Tools thing right away. You know,
okay.
you don't have to be like a master
Phew.
right off the bat.
Okay.
So where do you even begin?
RoleCatcher really stressed, starting with the fundamentals.
Okay.
So really understanding the basics, like sound waves,
Okay.
different microphone types, and just like basic recording techniques.
So not jumping straight into the explosions.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Right.
You know, there's tons of great resources online and courses.
Right.
A lot of them have like free trials, or you can do like the intro module for free
Nice, yeah.
just to get a feel for it.
So once you have the basics down,
Yeah.
then how do you actually like break into the industry? Because it's like, okay, I know about sound waves, but like get me in the booth.
Right, exactly. And that's where this like RoleCatcher breaks down the career path,
Okay.
which I think is really helpful.
Yeah.
Because you can see, like, okay, what are those different levels? So obviously starting out, you're going to be entry level.
Right.
And it's not, you know,
Not glamorous.
not super glamorous. You're going to be assisting,
Yeah.
you know, doing things like organizing sound libraries.
Which honestly sounds kind of fun to me, but
It can be.
maybe not everyone.
But it's like you're paying your dues,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
And you're like soaking up all this knowledge from the people who have been doing it.
Yeah.
So it's all about like learning the ropes, proving yourself.
Yeah.
And something that they mentioned that I thought was good is networking.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
So important.
Super important.
It's not even just like what you know, it's who you know.
It's who you know. Go to events.
Yes.
Meet other sound designers, you know? Even reach out to people like whose work you admire.
Totally.
Like ask for an informational interview.
Yeah, just like pick their brain
Exactly. You never know.
because everyone's been there
Exactly. Everyone's been in that same position.
where they knew nothing.
And honestly, most people like love to share their story, you know?
Yeah. Like I used to organize the library and now I'm
Now I'm here.
exactly.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So let's say you've been in the sound library for a while.
Yeah.
You've made some connections,
Right.
honed your skills. What's like that mid-level?
Yeah. So that's where it starts to get really fun
Okay.
because you start to specialize.
Okay.
So RoleCatcher was saying like you might specialize in dialogue
Okay.
or sound effects, or have you heard of Foley?
Foley.
Foley.
I feel like I've heard that, but I don't know.
It's super cool. It's like it's
Okay.
all the sounds that they create like on a sound stage. So like
right.
footsteps.
Like they're actually doing it?
Yeah, they're actually doing.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that interesting?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so it's like walking on different surfaces
Okay.
or like the rustle of clothes.
That makes sense because it's like, how else are you going to get that
Oh,
sound?
exactly.
So
So they're the ones making it sound real, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Foley.
So you might specialize in something like that.
Okay.
And then you start working on like a wider variety of projects.
Okay.
Maybe leading a team of sound editors.
Oh, wow. So you go from like organizing
Right.
to being in charge.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
That's cool.
Which obviously comes with its own like challenges.
Right.
Now you're managing a budget.
Oh, yeah. That's less fun.
Yeah, deadlines,
Yeah.
making sure like the sound is matching the vision.
Right. So it's creative, but it's also like you got to get it done.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
But I think for the right person, it's like so rewarding, you know?
Totally. Because you really, like, see your vision come to life or, like, hear it.
And it's collaborative too, you know?
Yeah. And you get to work with other people who are creative.
Exactly. And then, you know,
What a cool job.
it is a cool
And to
jet.
think it's all about sound, which is, like, we take it for granted
I know. It's so true. It's like we don't realize how much it affects us
until it's not.
until it's bad or it's not there.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So we talked about, like, the creative side, the technical side,
Right.
but how do you actually, like, get the job?
Right.
Like, that's always the tricky part. I know RoleCatcher has some really cool tools
Yes.
for that. Have you had a chance to look at those?
I have. Yeah, I have. They're pretty amazing. Like, honestly, game changers, I would say.
Oh.
Especially if you're feeling kind of lost
Yeah, totally.
in the job search.
It can be so overwhelming.
It is. So one of the things I thought was really cool was their like AI
Right.
resume and CV builder.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Because I think when people hear AI,
No.
they're like, what is it going to do?
Right, exactly.
Is it going to write my resume for me?
Well,
Kind of, maybe?
kind of. You know how important it is to like
Tailor it
yes,
every single time,
to the job.
which is so annoying.
It's the worst, right?
Yeah, but you kind of have to.
You kind of have to. It's so time consuming.
It's the worst part of applying for jobs.
Yes, but their AI does it for you.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so I give it my resume and it's like,
Basically, yeah. It like analyzes it. So like you put in the job description too.
oh, that's smart.
And it'll analyze the language,
Ah.
figure out what are like the keywords, the skills,
Oh, that's so smart.
and then it helps you present your experience in a way that's going to be
That makes sense.
that's going to catch their attention.
Yeah.
And importantly, the applicant tracking systems,
Oh, yes.
which I know can be a whole.
What even is that?
I know.
I feel like I hear about it and I'm like, is it a robot?
It's kind of a robot. A lot of companies use it now
Yeah.
because they just get so many applications, you know?
Right.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
So this is their way of like filtering through, I guess.
So it's like a pre-screening
Yes.
before a human even looks at it.
Exactly.
And they're looking for,
Keywords.
okay, so RoleCatcher's like, I gotcha.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to make sure you get past that robot.
Yes. That's amazing.
And into the hands of a real person.
Honestly, that's huge because I feel like
Yeah.
so much of it is just like getting your foot in the door.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's amazing. What a cool tool.
Yeah. And that's not all.
Oh my gosh. There's more.
They also have like a database of like interview questions.
Okay.
Because interviews are the worst, right?
The worst.
I get so nervous.
Me too. And it's like, how do you even practice?
I know, right?
Okay.
So they have this database and it's huge.
Okay.
It's like over 120,000 practice questions. I know. And they're all categorized. So it's by industry, by experience level,
Oh, wow.
by job title.
So you don't have to like scroll through and be like, is this relevant?
Exactly. They've done all the work for you.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And it gets even better.
Okay, what's better than 120,000 interview questions?
It also has like an AI feedback feature.
Go ahead.
So you can record yourself answering the questions.
Okay.
And it'll give you feedback
Oh my God.
on your delivery, like your body language, your content, all of it.
It's like a coach.
It is. It's like a little
pocket.
in your pocket. Exactly.
That's incredible.
I know.
So it's not just about like saying the right thing.
It's about how you're saying it, the
Yeah.
whole package. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So cool.
Wow. So obviously like the technical skills are super important,
Yeah.
but it's also just like presenting yourself
Totally.
and like having those soft skills too.
Which sometimes that gets overlooked, you know? That's so important.
Yeah. You could be the best sound editor
Yeah.
in the world.
Right.
But if you can't, like,
If you can't articulate it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And if you're like a nervous wreck in the interview, they're going to be like, nah.
Right,
They're
exactly.
going to be like, next.
yeah. Okay. Wow, this is all such good advice.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much. Me
Too.
Okay. It's like we always say, it's not just what, it's how you present yourself and how you connect with people.
Totally.
So it sounds like for sound editing, you really need that passion,
Yeah.
that love of sound
Oh, for sure.
to really like make it.
Yeah.
So how do you even, I don't know, is that something you're born with
Mhm.
or is that something you like develop?
I think it's it's a little bit of both. Like some people, they're drawn to sound, you know?
Yeah, so
We're the ones who like notice the difference between like two birds chirping or like how rain sounds different on different surfaces, you know?
that's so true. Yeah.
But you can totally nurture it.
Okay, good.
Like just actively listen to the world around you.
Yeah, just like be present
Be present.
in those moments and
Yeah.
like pay attention to soundtracks because I feel like
Oh my God.
that's where you really pick it up is like
Totally.
when you're watching something, you're like, ooh, that was cool how they did that.
Exactly. Or playing a game, even, you know?
Yeah.
Like video games have such good sound design now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like just being aware of it, you know?
Totally.
And then like experimenting.
Yes.
Trying to make your own sounds.
Because I know RoleCatcher mentioned like having a portfolio is important.
Yes.
And it's like, how do you even make a portfolio when you haven't had
Yeah.
any jobs yet?
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing. It doesn't have to be like a Hollywood movie, you know?
Okay.
It can be simple.
Yeah.
Like make sound effects for like a friend's short film, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
Or design the sounds for a small video game.
Yeah. Just so you have something to like show that
H.
you've done it.
And it shows you understand it,
Yeah.
like how to use sound to tell a story. You know?
Totally. And then as you get better, you can like replace those earlier things.
Yeah, exactly. And then share it.
Yeah.
Put it online.
Get it out there.
Don't be afraid to like submit to festivals
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
or competitions. Even get feedback from other sound designers.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we always say feedback is a gift.
It's how you get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, we talked about like the technical side,
Yeah.
the creative side, the job hunt.
Yeah.
Any final words of advice?
I would just say, you know, don't be afraid to reach out
Yeah.
to people who are already doing it.
Totally.
Because honestly, most sound designers, they're happy to like share how they got there
Yeah.
or offer advice or even just like point you in the right direction, you know?
Because it is a community
It is.
and everyone's been
Everyone's been there.
in that same position. So
Yeah.
they get it.
Totally. And everyone's passionate about it.
Exactly.
And they want to help other people, you know?
So cool. This has been such a great deep dive
It has.
into the world of sound editing.
So interesting.
I've learned so much. We've learned about the skills that you need,
Yeah.
what they actually do, which I feel like is always a mystery.
Right.
And then like what they can do with RoleCatcher to like
To make it happen.
make it happen.
Get that job.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's amazing. Technology is pretty cool.
it is. Technology is cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.
Of course.
This has been awesome. And for our listeners, as you're like going about your day,
Yes.
maybe just like take a second to really listen.
Be present
Yeah.
to the sounds around you because you
know,
never
I mean,
know.
Totally
No.
what you might hear
And how they make you feel.
Yeah.
and how it makes you feel. And maybe one day you'll be the one creating those sounds.
You never know.
You never know. All right, until next time.